Everything needs to change. I'm gonna crash my game making this joke. I've been building Jurassic Park Japan one episode at a time, one build at a time. I come up with an idea, I make a bad sketch, I build it, then I show you guys and hope it gives you some inspiration for your own builds, and then rinse and repeat. It's how I did Mini Nublar, Mini Sorna, Mini Manticore Island, but I need to make a change. I need a plan.
I have a plan. Attack.
Now, the only park I ever planned was Hammond's Ark, my all-species park, and the last unmodded Jurassic World Evolution 2 park on my channel. I did a video on how I planned that park with some tips on how to tackle park layout, and I'll link that at the end, as well as the full park tour, which is the longest park tour I've ever done on the channel, but amazingly, a lot of people still watch it. I'd say Hammond's Ark was a pretty successful park. I like it, you guys like it, and I think that's probably because it had a plan. Jurassic Park Japan needs a plan. So that's what we're tackling in this video. Step 1, figure out which species are gonna go into Jurassic Park Japan. The lore behind this park is that it's kind of like an alternate universe where the original Jurassic Park didn't crash and burn.
Emotional damage!
And instead became a global franchise of parks, one on every continent, each showcasing species from that specific continent to make it extra worthwhile for people to visit all of them, because there's different species in each. Jurassic Park Japan would be the park for the Asian continent with Asian species. So far, we have the Tarbosaurus named Gojira, some invisible Dinochirus and Gigantoraptors because they crashed the park, Genuinopterus, don't come for my pronunciation by the way, it's only gonna get worse from here. Jailopterus in the Butterfly Garden Aviary. In a stream, we dropped in Gigantspinosaurus. The Pokemon experience has Homalocephale, Lycosaurus, Crichtonsaurus, Oviraptor, Microceratus, and Sinosauropteryx. And last week's addition in the Dragon's Den is Changzhousaurus. I made a list of official game species that I'd still like to add, and honestly, this is already quite a bit, and I could fill a park with these. But since this is my first modded park build in Jurassic World Evolution 2, I went shopping for some modded Asian species. The first of which being Master Dude's Siamosaurus, which was recommended to me in a comment by Amir Hussein and several other people, honestly, in a previous episode. This is a very popular mod. But I also got, and get ready for a lightning round, Corythoraptor, Gasosaurus, Shunosaurus, Lufengosaurus, Halscaraptor, Zegnosaurus, Guanlong, Zhucheng Tyrannus, Omesaurus, Beishonglong, Sinotyrannus, Xinjiang Titan, Bapiosaurus, and Yangchuanosaurus. Now, not all of these are gonna make it into the park. That depends on how a later step in the planning process goes later in this video. This list I consider a wish list, and we'll see which ones make it into the park. Stay tuned. From this list of species, one type of animal is missing, and that is a lagoon species. I couldn't find an Asian lagoon species, so currently I'm considering using Megalodon, which was found all over the globe. But if someone can suggest an Asian lagoon species to me, that will replace Megalodon in the park, so do please comment if you know of an appropriate modded species. Another species that is missing from my wish list is an actual Japanese species. Most of these are Chinese. We can't have Jurassic Park Japan with no Japanese species. Unfortunately, there's only one modded species that I could find that, in my opinion, matches the quality of the other mods I have and the frontier dinosaurs, and that's the Fukuivenator. There are more Japanese species like the Fukuiraptor, but I just don't think the quality is of the same level. So Fukuivenator is the only Japanese species that's going to get added to the park, but I will make sure that it gets a special place in the park. Step 2 for the plan is to look up some references and brainstorm some ideas for themed areas. Because a park doesn't just need space for dinosaurs, it needs space for guest areas too, and we need to plan for that. There's a couple of elements and areas that I want to incorporate. It's been suggested that I build the Tokyo Tower, but respectfully, are you crazy? Look at this thing. How am I supposed to build this in the game one steel beam at a time? I did a crazy build with the pagoda, and that's enough for me. Something I do want to look into is a suggestion to build a mech suit. I think this is super difficult, but I do think it's possible. If we look at something like Optimus Prime, which is very blocky, I see some possibilities. Gundams typically have more complex shapes, but dang, this takes me back. I used to watch this all the time, man. I have these on DVD. DVD. However, I don't want Jurassic Park Japan to just become pop culture park. Because I've seen people suggest, Super Mario and Sonic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that sort of stuff. And I get it. I sort of set myself up for that by including, a reference to Godzilla, Gojira. But yeah, I don't want Jurassic Park Japan to be pop culture park. So we're gonna leave it at the mech suit. Whether it works or not, I'm not gonna include anything else. What I want to do is make a guest plaza full of lights and billboards to represent this hyper-modern urban Japan, and then connect that to a small Japanese village build, so our guests feel like they're stepping back or stepping forward in time. I also want to make a Japanese garden, which is something I have been referencing in previous builds as sort of like a design aesthetic, but I want to really just make a nice, tranquil Japanese water garden for our guests to walk through. And then probably have that transition into a cherry blossom park. And we'll put lots of cherry blossoms in the adjacent habitats, probably with Allure Titan, which was supposed to appear in an earlier episode only for the build to turn out too small. And these images are so gorgeous that I really need another pagoda in the backdrop of the cherry blossom park. And thankfully, the Japanese decorations mod makes that a lot easier than the first pagoda that I built piece by piece. Another element I want is a big lake with a torii gate right in the middle of it, so we get a lovely reflection of it on the surface. And then in that lake, which might actually become a natural lagoon, I want to build an island in the shape of Japan, and on that island we'll have the one Japanese species I could find that I think is up to standard, the Fukuivenator. The third step is to plan our enclosures. I won't go into too much detail this far in advance, because even when we plan, we need to be flexible. If you want tips on how to plan the best possible dinosaur enclosure, I have a video that helps out, how to build the best possible dinosaur enclosures. I'll link it at the end of this video. But for now, for Jurassic Park Japan, a good start is figuring out which dinosaurs can go into a mixed species habitat. I was thinking of having a big sauropod valley and all sauropods coexisting in there. So Mamenchisaurus, Omesaurus, Shunosaurus, and Xinjiang Titan. They can all go in one enclosure. I'd add Lufengosaurus because it's a relative, and for some size variation in that habitat to add some life to the undergrowth, I'll probably add Gallimimus, Baishanlong, and Bapiosaurus into the Sauropod Valley as well. I really want this to be a huge habitat, so I like the idea of mixing a lot of species together and really make it feel more like a natural ecosystem, but without predators, of course, because it is still a park after all. Allure Titan is the species I want by the Cherry Blossom Park, and it definitely needs its own enclosure to make up for the fact that I was gonna add it earlier in an earlier episode and it just ended up drawing the short straw. Weyerhaeusaurus and Sinoceratops will have their own dedicated themed enclosures as well, because they'll be the only Stegosaurid and Ceratopsid in the park respectively. The big theropods would also each need their own enclosures, with Eutyrannus and Sinotyrannus having separate habitats but next to each other and sharing a theme, possibly with the illusion that it's one habitat. And then after that, Zhujiangtyrannus and Yangchuanosaurus have the highest priority for me. If we have space for a Gasosaurus, then sure, but I doubt it. Dang, I should have built on the square map after all.
Why didn't I build in Orlando?
Segnosaurus and Therizinosaurus will share a habitat, although shockingly, if we don't have the space, I won't add either. And Theri is my favorite herbivore in the game. I think it's awesome, but because of that, I already use it quite regularly, so it's not a must-have for me in this park. Velociraptor is a must-have though. For Velociraptor, I want to reuse an idea I incorporated on Mini Manticore Island, which is a show arena, leaning into the intelligence of the raptors and that they might be trainable to perform some simple tricks. Hey, we're building Jurassic Park Japan, not an ethical park. Okay, now the most difficult step, and that is to plan a park layout. What I like doing is sketching out a layout with the terrain paints, and you can use references for this, but for this one, we're just going to freehand it, using our list of guest elements and our wish list of species as a guide. Let's dive into the mind of past Evo and watch her figure this out in real time. Alright, so I have my list of elements and lists of enclosures that I want to include, you know, and I sort of have, like at least the enclosures, I have like a priority list. And we're gonna start with the top priority and also just the biggest because it's gonna be the easiest, which is the, like, sauropod valley. And yeah, this map is definitely smaller than I would have liked, but we're just gonna make it work. So initially I thought we would just make it like really long, but it's you can see it's quite skinny. So what I might do instead, how far? Let's do it like that. And then instead of making it a long habitat, we're sort of gonna make it T-shaped. Well, very, very roughly, obviously. There, that's gonna give us more of the size that we're gonna need, because I want quite a few sauropods in here. But what I might do to make it a little less crowded is, instead of, you know, doing many sauropods of one species, many sauropods of another species, just gonna be like a couple of each. So we get the variety, we get the different species, but not too many animals. So I'm just gonna leave this like this for now. And what could be cool is, you know, when guests come from this direction, they actually have to cross over the sauropod habitat with a bridge. Just like, you know, we have a bridge over here. I think that could be pretty cool. And next up, in terms of guest area, I think like the Billboard Plaza and the Japanese town, I think that's gonna be the biggest thing. I really like how, you know, we look at this right here, so I want that to be a guest area. Maybe I should switch color for guest area. So how about, like, this is gonna be the little town. We don't need too much space for it. And then attached to it is gonna be like the big Billboard Plaza, you know? This is just gonna be crazy. It's gonna feel like you're in the middle of Tokyo. And yeah, you're just surrounded with like modern Japan. And then when you step on through, it's like this peaceful little village with all of the amazing decoration pieces. And then the garden is gonna be on this side, or maybe the other side. Sorry. Again, this is the whole point, right? We're figuring things out. We're gonna do it on the other side because I want the garden to sort of lead into the Cherry Blossom Park. Yeah. Okay. Like, this plaza is gonna have like a connection point into the little Japanese old-fashioned town. Japanese old-fashioned town is gonna lead into nice tranquil garden. This is gonna have like an entry point here, and probably also an entry point here. But I want to leave this closed so we can really fill this up with billboards and stuff. So this will have like a big backing. I'm just gonna do that for now. And the reason I'm visualizing that is that, you know, we can now use this as the backdrop of something. Now, obviously, this is going to be a habitat. I think that's pretty sizable, so we might do something like the big theropod in here. Like, what's it called? I have to look at these names. I'm not used to them yet. Zhuchang Tyrannus? I do apologize for my pronunciation. Guess would cross over the sauropod habitat right there. And, you know, we have to go this way. We obviously have to connect to that right here. If I do it like that, then I've left some space here. That's not a lot of space, though. I'm gonna switch this around. Hold on. I am trying to, like, maximize the space. So, guest path would come along here. So, you know, looking down into... Because I'm going to be digging this down even further. So it's going to be looking down into Sauropod Valley. We're going to go that way. Then I can do some buildings along this edge, like that. Then it's going to connect something like that. And then now I have, like, this better shape. And this can become a habitat as well. See, and now that's a pretty decent size again. So again, I want my gardens, and the garden can be quite small, right? It's supposed to feel like a little peaceful area. It's not supposed to be expansive, but it's gonna open up into like a cherry blossom park, and I think just like an elongated. Is park really the right word? It's just gonna be more like an avenue with a lot of cherry blossom trees. I think we would have a cool pagoda up here for that backdrop, sort of mimic the image that I like. Pagoda, they should be. And there you go. Again, just placing it for reference. So yeah, you're gonna have like cherry blossoms. You're gonna see the pagoda on top of there. That's gonna be cool. So I guess we can connect that like this. There, this is gonna connect. And then this will probably be Allure Titan. And, you know, we continue the cherry blossoms in here. We continue the cherry blossoms over here. I might then extend this like that. Give the sauropod habitat more space. But this would be the O for Allure Titan. Then this, is it big enough for Zhucheng Tyrannus? It might also be a cool place for the Velociraptor arena idea, so I'm not going to fill this in quite yet. But this is obviously our Sauropod Valley. I don't really think I'll forget that, but still. Alright, this long habitat might be something like Werchosaurus or Sinoceratops, something like that. Alright, so now we are here. So this is like my huge hotel, right? I still think this looks pretty cool. It still needs a lot of work, but, you know. We're getting there, we're getting there. So this would need like a lot of guest stuff around it, because, you know, it's a huge hotel, so you would want like a bit of a shopping district over here. Because now, right here, what I can do is like this can become a habitat. Okay, it's very important that this does not become a dead end, right? So I have to take this over here. So that leaves us with quite an awkward space, but it is what it is. And this is gonna connect, come down. What I could also do, ooh, I think that might be nice placement. If we do the lagoon here, I do want a lagoon. Again, help me out. If you know of a modded Asian species, please do let me know. But if we don't have something like that, I am just gonna put in the Megalodon, because I feel like a lagoon is necessary for that bit of variety. Here, I could do a lagoon like this, and then it would be, yeah, it would be kind of cool that you could see the lagoon like that. And then what I think I'll do is steal more space for the sauropod habitat. All right, now we have up here. It's another awkward space. So I actually think that we can steal some more space for the sauropod habitat. Just really want that to have like the wow factor, you know? And this area isn't big enough for a habitat anyway, so we might as well do that. All right, so we have a path coming out here. And this was designed, you know, to have some moments to look into it. So the path goes just all the way around. Really enclose just this habitat. Now, I think an easy thing is if we do that, then right away you have a habitat on this side, you have a habitat on that side. And this could even go like that. Then the guest area goes up to that, and you're gonna get, you know, a nice view over the cherry blossom park. What might be fun is have like a kind of high-low habitat. So a habitat that has, you know, is part on this level, part on this level, with like a ramp for the animals to go up and down. And then path goes up. This is kind of wasteful, so I think we're gonna make it a bigger curve. Because again, this is useless space right now, right? And we really want to maximize the space here, because yeah, I definitely underestimated how much I want to do with this park. I thought, the Biocin map is plenty big enough. So we're gonna take it like that and bring it up at the edge so we can make just this a bigger habitat. And maybe the guests and the dinosaurs will then share the same ramp. You know, I already have a bit of a ramp going here. And then this can be another habitat. What I could even do is raise this up another level. So I think this is the way. Now you might be wondering, well, where the heck is the mini Japanese island and the lake? Well, the thing is, I don't think I can make that work in combination with everything else I want. So it might be cool to like have like this elevated platform. There, I guess would go up. And they could look into the habitat. And this would be for the Japanese species then, to sort of give it a special place. Because to make mini Japan work as an island to put a habitat on, I feel like I would have to sacrifice this whole area. And even then, so it would sacrifice 3 habitats. I just don't think it would work. I think that's an idea I might have to scrap. Now, what I could do is do like, if I make this an open lagoon, I could make like a super tiny mini Japan here, but it wouldn't serve as a functional island. And I do think I'm gonna switch it up. I do think we're gonna make this the Velociraptor Arena. I should check how the amphitheater fits in there. This would be Fukuivenator. So yeah, then only the big lake and mini Japan is scrapped, but this would be our big lake, right? What I could do is put the big thing. I could put it in here and sort of get that same effect. I think this gives the park a nice flow. There's no dead ends. Well, like this is a tiny dead end, right? But this is like a specific way to see the one Japanese species, which I feel that's fair. But this is the plan. I actually have a plan. Oh my gosh, okay. By the way, I hope I can cut this down because I'm looking at the recording time and it took me 33 minutes to figure this out, even though it's actually super simple. I will say, if we can't find an Asian lagoon species, I am open to the idea of scrapping the lagoon and putting back in another Asian land species instead. And I'm also open to putting the Fukuivenator in there after all. But let me know in a comment down below if we have an Asian lagoon species that I've just not come across. Now we have a plan for Jurassic Park Japan. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and comment down below which habitat you want me to work on in the next episode, and suggestions for habitat themes and styles are very much welcome. Check out my tips video on how to plan enclosures or how to plan a full park from the very start, or maybe give another build on the channel a shot. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.